Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day.
I'm going to get my groove on.
So Bay is in town. So most of those ladies are kicking it out. You
said who?
Bay.
There's only one Bay in this house.
Ooh. Beyonce. I'm not talking about us.
You better say Beyonce before you say Bay.
This has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, that was.
I'm selfish.
Yeah, that was kind of a.
She said Bay. She said Bay.
That was kind of confusing right there. That was kind of
confusing.
But yes, I guess we're without a lot of women because a lot of preparations going on today. A lot of glitter. I heard all the glitter in South Florida is sold out.
It's sold out, and the fans
are sold out.
And
you gonna be doing some parking lot pimping that day?
I have boots on back order.
Look, Dwight, Roy said you going to the let out in the parking lot.
I am not. I learned my lesson going to the Dolphins game. They done switched up the parking. I'm good.
No,
have me out there.
You got
have me out there sweating. I'll be it'll be a bad look.
Girl, you up to girl?
Hey.
Let me holler at you, baby.
You don't wipe your eyebrows off. Stop.
Exactly,
right.
Oh my goodness. So such a lot. It's just a lot going on, a lot to unpack as per our life. I mean, I can't think of a better time to have began this show chronicling all of the things that are going on in life because it's just a lot to talk about. So we have Dwight joining us today. Thank you, Senator. Let's kick it off with a little bit about Carrot Top.
Oh man.
Yes.
Let's see. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 indictments now. Shout out to the state of Georgia. The Fulton County District Attorney. If there was a sister who represented anyone could get it, it is that sister right there because there's the same sister who brought charges against
showed
young
up and she's not in the car today, guys.
Exactly. She's stationary.
Hey, I didn't interrupt you, Dwight. My bad. That's my bad.
No, it's all good. No, I was just saying this sister brought charges against Young Thug and that whole crew, and people were like, well, she's some sort of anti-black set. Like, nah, she's like, I got smoke for everybody. If you do the crime,
everybody can get it, right?
Everybody.
And so Donald Trump got slapped with another 91 charges. I think the total now is 91. She had 14 counts against him for this particular indictment. But unlike the other ones, she also brought his friends along with her. So she threw the book at 19 different people, from his campaign manager to Rudy Giuliani to Kanye's former manager.
Wow. Rudy's been kind of quiet.
Everybody got some action coming out of Georgia.
Is something really going to happen though? I
was going to say, I think that this
we see everybody around Trump seems to get it. He's so elusive. I don't know.
So he is an elusive character, no doubt. He has not really done any jail time thus far, I think. And this is just my opinion.
He paid a fine. I know he paid a fine.
This just my opinion is, I think to some degree, some of those folks would be satisfied if he would sign away his ability to run for president again.
Yep.
And then, maybe do some house arrest or probationary period. But I think that's for folks, that is the goal, right? Like, stop trying to evade the law, stop trying to be above the law, stop trying to put on this I want to be president so bad thing, because really he's running to raise money for his legal defense. Let's be clear, right?
He's a billionaire. Isn't he a billionaire?
And that's all he's using the money for. And then really because he believes if he's president, he can pardon himself. So so that is the challenge.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I see. If these charges are out there so he can just disappear and not run for the president of the United States, it still says to me he's above the law. He's broken the law.
That's real. No, and what I would say is, and again, that was my opinion in the sense of someone wanting to sit Trump down. But when I think about the folks who are running this, the DAs, especially the sister in Georgia and Bragg in New York, they really want to throw the book at him.
Right.
The question becomes, will they get a chance to, right? Like, will the powers that be say, we kind of got what we want, or will they allow them to kind of just throw the book at him the way they want to?
I think the history with Trump right now shows that he is above the law. Right now, it has proven that he's above the law.
Right.
I think it's time for the law to prevail. Otherwise, we all know that you really need to question the law anyways. But the reality is that Trump has been above the law for quite some time. He's broken every other law. You see his team in past members of his team go to jail, get fired, the whole nine. And I'm not saying it ends and begins with him, but he's also part of that. Right. So
it is what it is. What I appreciate about Trump, he's almost like the insurance company. You don't know what you're dealing with until you push it. Like, you gotta use it. You gotta actually work through it to see if it actually benefits you. Trump has found a way to balance this line between doing what he wants to do, but then still using his privilege to understand the laws surrounding what it is that he would like to do. Right. We're just, again, at the tip of the iceberg with this guy. My prayers goes out to that assistant DA, because isn't she a district attorney? Assistant district attorney?
Well, no, district attorney. She's district attorney. The DA.
Okay. I read somewhere assistant, and maybe that was old because the internet never throws anything away. Yeah, that part. But I pray for her safety, because she's recounted some things that I don't think anybody should ever have to go through just to do your job. You're just doing it's like the guy, a captain who everybody was calling a security guard. All he was doing was doing his job. Just doing his job. You're doing your job. And I know she's gotten death threats and everything else.
You know it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's keep at the front door. Let's keep it moving. I know I know you heard this story. The internet broke
Baby.
Oh yeah.
Michael Oher story.
Oh boy.
So
Wow.
supposedly, allegedly, Michael Oher has filed a lawsuit against the Tuohys because he says that he was coerced into signing a document that he thought were adoption papers, and it turns out that he turned over his custodial rights to the Tuohys to be able to act on his behalf for all business matters. And I guess it was in perpetuity because now he's asking the court to do away with that contract. The Tuohys came out and stated that he tried to shake them down for $15 million before filing a lawsuit. Now, if that were the case, that is what he felt that he was justified. I don't know if shaking down would be the correct terminology. Maybe this is the amount that I feel that we can settle the case for. We don't have to go to the to court to settle this. But it seemed as if it was a little privilege wording that they tried to use by saying shake down.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, it's also, think about it, they got money, right? They're powerful in their community. Everybody knows them now at this point. I mean, you're talking about a movie that's grossed over $300 million. So everybody knows who they are. The mother was doing public speaking. So you're going to portray him as if he's not that smart. You're also going to portray him as if he's greedy. And the reality is that when they adopted him,
Well, they never adopted him.
when they
Yeah.
said
lack thereof.
we're going to quote unquote adopt you, he said he was always the first at practice, last at practice. He was in plays. He was already an All-American.
Yeah.
See, and that's not what the movie portrayed him to be. It said that
he had always said that prior to this. So what they did was they took this document and said, hey, we're going to adopt you. Let's give this to you. You're thinking you're signing over adoption papers. Who doesn't want to be adopted? I'm part of this family. And find out that they weren't. And you signed over your rights. Basically, your NIL, your name.
Right. Everything that you've done that's legal.
Everything. You also took some of that. You put your kids' names in that document. So the money and proceeds will go to your kids, which made them millionaires as well. Like, it's just...
It's too many layers to it.
Gross. It's gross.
It's slimy. It's slimy because they made the money off of him.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be one thing if the Tuohy, I mean, they had to a degree money of their own.
Correct.
But they enriched themselves.
Yeah, they added some commas.
Off of this blood. He went to the NFL, played a long career, standout offensive lineman, made money there. But then to come into your adulthood and find out that the movie that you made hundreds of millions of dollars, the book deals, the going around speaking, talking about how you changed this kid's life and getting these speaker fees of 5-6 figures to go to these conferences, all off of a story that ultimately was a falsehood.
Not true.
Got a little SJ out there filming in the show.
Yeah, not true.
I didn't hear it. What did you say? I didn't hear what you said, Dwight, and I didn't hear what Dabu said.
I said, got a little SJ out there filming them, and we getting all into the movie, like he helping.
Yeah.
Little SJ running out the tunnel. Let's go.
We bought the movie. We bought the line.
Did you see what SJ said in a recent interview?
What did he say?
He said we knew this was coming.
He said that. He couldn't answer anything else. He didn't answer anything else. He said they knew it.
He said we knew it was just a matter of time.
Wow.
Listen,
Wow.
They did this boy wrong. They did him wrong. And you can't, I just don't know how you get around from that wrongdoing. Like, he's even said even prior to that, because once he had signed his name over and not knowing he signed everything over, he really had no rights to this film. No say so in the film. No say so about his character. So what he said though, and essentially which also kind of led to him, he said, you know how hard it was to walk into a locker room, and because this movie had so much influence, the coaches and teams thought I was dumb. They thought I didn't even know the plays. That also could have cut into his contract and the money he made too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but we know that they were handling the contracts. So you best believe he got paid what he was worth, because they would not have negotiated anything less, because ultimately they got paid for the contract.
Exactly.
I think it's ugly. It's
so
not...
that one scene where the person that's interviewing him saying, "Why do you want to go to where did he go? Alabama, Tennessee, one of those schools."
Yeah.
And it was like, because they forced you to go. Why did you go? So yeah, that little part of the movie is like really.
It does spin a different tale for that NCAA portion of the movie, if you've seen it, because she's like literally asking him, "Were you coerced? Did these people, force you to do this?"
Look at this. Look at this. Because you know how we think, sir. You know how we think. Or was that put in the movie specifically for a time as this? To say that all of that happened to free them.
Throw us off the trail.
It does something.
Oh, yeah. No. I have no doubt, because they had full creative control. I mean, at this point, they were the actor from the movie just released a statement, because they were talking about Sandra Bullock, who actually got an Oscar for that role.
Yeah, they were calling for her Oscar back. They want it back.
They were like, "You need to get it," and they're like, "What that ain't." The actor was like, "That ain't got to do with us. Like we got a script."
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Don't put that on us because this family is out here being ridiculous.
Exactly. I just did what they told us to do.
Right.
Now, did you all see the was floating around on TikTok, the picture that the Mrs. Tooley took with 2 kids in a restaurant in her spot or something like that?
It was her restaurant.
No.
So she posted a picture of her with these 2 young black guys.
Look at me still helping the children.
Pretty much. And she said that, and the fact that, you can't ever judge a book by its cover. And that is wrong, dead wrong, to have preconceived thoughts on somebody when you just see them across the room. That's not right. You just don't do stuff like that.
That's not right.
So what she said was, her friend who was with her in the restaurant said, "What are they up to?" So she decides she's going to go over and sit in the booth with them and tell them, "Give me your phone. What are you all doing?" And according to her, they were trying to scrape up bus fare to get, no, not bus fare. They were trying to scrape up money to be able to go to a basketball game. So did she give them money? Yeah. She went ahead and gave them money. And you can't judge a book by its cover, yada, 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 yada.
Well, I tell you, she's such a kind-hearted, altruistic woman.
Right? Damage control.
Here's the twist.
What would we do without her?
Right.
Somebody saw the picture, told one of the people in the picture, "Dude, Dana, what you doing in this picture?" Dana, you read the post and was like, "Not really sure why you're saying that, because that's not what happened. That's my brother. We were there because he needed to plug his phone in. And you're making money. We have money."
He had a job.
Here's what I think. If she wants to make money, because it really sounds like she's good about this, she should do the story of George Santos, the congressman from New York, and just make all kinds of stuff up. Like he's an Avenger,
But listen, but does that let y'all know how really good this movie was? This movie was good because I know who's ever watched it has watched it more than one time.
Of course.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Yes. Multiple times. The
Listen,
movie's good to me.
it makes you question the whole thing, like the drug dealers on the corner. Like it felt like she put her hand on everything. Just like, I want him to come from the worst. He probably just came from a regular,
Right.
They're like,
Well, here's the thing he talked about. He talked about even being in the third grade and being younger. He said he looked around in his environment and said he knew he was different then. So he set his mind to do something different then. So he said he was getting up and going to school early, disciplining himself, and started doing plays and all kinds of, had good grades, but he had a tough situation where he was.
100%. But the thing about it, the thing that makes it so fascinating is he was an academic All-American in Mississippi. Like, so
they sought him
boy,
out.
He came with 1.5 and be an academic All-American.
They saw him, yes.
They sought him out and manipulated that situation.
Yeah, because now you think about it, are you going to get into private school with a 1.5 and can't read? Not really.
Listen, already an All-American.
Before you take
man.
Before you took him in. They made it look like this guy did not know how to play, block. He couldn't remember plays. He was sorry. Here's the other part of it too, though. Then she showed him how to block, and he got outraged.
Like you did, SJ.
You did SJ.
Like you play for me.
Now you make it look like he's just an outraged black kid from a bad neighborhood.
That's crazy.
Man. Now
what did they
92% false.
Oh, this racism is killing me
now.
Man, these folks done messed up my movie.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Now that we go
for real.
scene to scene, we only like 2% of the movie now.
Oh man.
Well, that movie's. I think some people are starting to pull it too, right? So, but that's why they say you don't watch television because it will television.
Lies to your vision.
G. Mo Nilly.
Oh
Man, look at here. California has had a rash of thievery. I don't even understand. How do you pull together something like this with 30 to 50 of your friends and you expect for nobody to tell?
Somebody gonna tell it.
Get away.
Yeah.
You all
Me
get
and my brother.
But you
my
get
brother.
away.
I was gonna say, when I was younger, living in California, me and my brother got caught stealing beef jerky at Easy Stop. So our thievery days ended in California.
Hey, look, it's always gonna be one person. Come on out, they caught us.
I don't know about something. There's something in the air in California.
They say they caught us.
Come on out, he over there. Come on out, they caught us.
I'm gonna tell you something. People in California will steal from you.
No, but have you guys seen the video?
Yes.
Nordstrom
in broad daylight too.
Laurent, a jewelry store. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't know quite that level.
But let me put this out here. I mean,
okay, go ahead.
I love my people, I do. But like in the black community, you understand what I'm saying? In the black community, if there's a group of young men who got that skip, like on the Montgomery boat, like that was the part in the Montgomery boat video, was like when that man hit that skip, it was like, oh, it's about to happen.
Yeah,
right.
I can only imagine them brothers gave some telltale signals. If you're at that mall, there was like another group of black folks that was like, it's about to go down. I hope that the Gucci store is ready, because that bounce, that bop, that let me grab the back of my pants hop that happens right before it goes down is a tell.
There's always signals.
There's always a signal. And I'm just
when you think about it, though, I mean, that's the first time that I can ever remember seeing something like that happen, where usually it may be one or two, but when you got 30, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? So somebody came up with a plan like, you know what? This thing is done in numbers.
That's it.
What I was seeing was Ocean's 11.
Right.
I'm going, this is some old high tech. Y'all been planning this for a minute.
Yes and no, but it's like, so I remember a friend of mine who worked for the police department gave, and Dana might know this, hasn't been in law enforcement. There's like, they've come up with common language to describe Black people, same way that young brother got hemmed up for the taking out his garbage, right? Is like this whole fits the description thing.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because if you're like, if we all fit the description, why would we go 2, 3, 4 deep? Why not go 30 deep? Because there's no way they're gonna be able to be like, could you describe him? It was a Black kid with a hoodie on. That's right. That's it was like, I need you to narrow that down to not just Watts, South Central, like not just all these places. Like
right. That reminds me of the scene of Life when Eddie Murphy and Martin them were all in jail and the warden's daughter got pregnant.
Oh, right.
And he was like, "Who did it? I did it. How you gonna identify now all these Black guys?"
Right.
It's gonna be like Inside Man. It's gonna be like they're gonna be questioning like, who took it? I don't know. I'm mad you got me in here because I got a hoodie on. That's messed up that you got me up in this.
Right. Right.
Right. You gotta do it like this.
Yeah.
But look, long as they don't get that one.
Oh, right. You've seen enough episodes of First 48. There's always gonna be that one.
Somebody gonna tell it, right?
Yeah.
What they say that whoever's eating the hamburger,
look,
and Day and
they already
3-piece Kentucky Fried Chicken and a grape soda, and
that's it.
A neighborhood will go down.
That is bad, Dana.
But
so Phylisha Rashad has stepped down as the Dean of the Arts at Howard, right?
Yep.
Yes. At Howard.
The Chadwick Boseman School of Arts.
How many years was it?
3.
At the end of the term, it would be 3. Once she finishes.
She's done after the end of this upcoming school year.
Yeah. So it'll be a 3rd year.
I don't know why she stepped down out of curiosity.
It might be like a Deion Sanders kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a contract she didn't want to extend. But people sleep on Howard School of the Arts. They've had some very notable deans.
Mm-hmm.
The brother who played Elijah Muhammad in the movie Malcolm X was the dean of Howard's Fine Arts School. Bill Duke was the dean for a short period of time. The director and actor. So, as soon as it happened, I was like, I wonder if they're going to tap like Taraji.
Oh.
Because that would be, because they tend to do that to make sure they kind of keep folks coming in. So.
Makes sense.
That's nice. That's nice. Congratulations to Howard University, and rest in peace to Clarence Avant. I just feel like his heart had been broken since his wife passed.
Right.
For those of you who don't know who he is, go ahead and Google him. He is.
Watch the documentary on Netflix.
The Godfather.
What's the name of it?
The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Is it The Godfather?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, not to be mixed up with Forrest Whitaker, Godfather.
Oh, The Godfather in Harlem.
Yeah. That documentary is excellent, by the way, though. Everybody's in there from Puff Daddy to Barry White. I mean, not Barry White, Barry Gordy Jr.
Yeah.
Everybody is in there. I mean, he just seemed like Bubba Gump. He was just everything. You think they name a national situation. Oh, yeah, well,
Call Clarence.
With Hank Aaron, and he did this with, it just never stopped.
Yeah.
His influence. Yeah. Yeah. So rest in peace to him. Yeah, we talked about Beyonce earlier. What is this? Bob, what did Bobby put this in here for?
Because of her mama confirmed that she don't travel with a toilet.
Oh, her mama said that she does not.
Her mama said she don't travel with a toilet.
What?
But
travel with a toilet. I don't understand.
But
What's the conversation?
Well, the rumor is that Beyonce, when she travels, she brings her own personal toilet.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't see anything wrong with it though.
Look, if you can, hey.
Yeah, I feel like she can.
I mean, if you able, shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, look, hey.
I thought you put up that up there because Tina's single again and William's not on the show, so I put two and two together.
Oh.
That if William's not here and Tina Lawson is free.
Don't do that to Will I Am.
So shout out to
William.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Our very own cougar hunter, Will.
I thought William already had somebody putting the salve on him.
But was it Tina Lawson? Though? You know that.
Get the salve.
No, that was 2022 stuff you talking about, Dana.
Oh, okay. You know,
listen, he might be a little savvy, might be out here. She like Tina out here in the streets.
No, I think William learned his lesson. You know, you're not trying to go to bed at 7 p.m. every night with a bottle of Ripple and some Bengay in your hand. You got to rub the lady's knees down. You know what I mean?
Right after supper. Right after supper.
Ripple is from the ones he used to mess with. Tina Lawson looked like a good Asti Spumante type sister.
Yeah.
You know? You know what I'm saying? A reuniti on ice.
Yeah.
She's still drinking Tanqueray. She drank some Tanqueray, boy.
Some old pink champagne.
Precisely, because she's classy.
That's Ripple.
Sham Pipple.
Right, it's just right. Sham Pipple.
Oh.
Goons.
These thugs.
Thugs.
They are.
That's it. That's all they are.
So what were they turn themselves in? I didn't see the lady in this picture.
Well, no, this
ain't from the boat. This ain't from the boat. These are called the Goon Squad.
The Goon Squad.
Oh.
These guys are cowards.
Yeah.
These are the ones who took the gentleman and
tortured them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff, and they, once you do that, you're just a thug. Any law enforcement person got a problem with what they did and think you're attacking law enforcement, they the problem, because anytime you go outside of your oath, you just a common criminal and a thug. You need to go to jail. And that's all I'm saying.
So they were police officers?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Mississippi.
And some of the stuff they did when they tortured these men was, humiliating. I think these guys should rot. They should rot in jail. Yeah.
Wow. I thought that was in Alabama. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
It is. If you read the story, it's even more disgusting.
Right.
I don't think I can put it with the details.
And the fact that it happened repeatedly to different people. Like, it wasn't
right.
They got busted because of this last.
Right. These last the isolated incident, right?
Yeah. They were repeatedly.
It's more of them because the ones around them knew what they was doing. They just as bad,
Well, how did they get caught?
I don't know.
The two men came forward because they didn't die.
Oh, they did not die.
No, they, the investigation was done, and it was found that that there were repeated patterns of torture of different folks over a period of time.
So were the people supposed to be arrested, or they just was picking up, like kidnapping people?
No, just pull them over.
What you just said.
Just pull them over and torture them for no reason.
And just take them to someplace else?
That's it.
Basically. Because
if they arrested them, there'd actually be a track record. They were just out here just abusing folks because they could.
Yeah. And it was abuse. Let's be honest about it. Like, these guys, listen, they should die. I ain't never said that. But what they did to these men, You should not even be alive, to be quite honest with you.
Well, Mississippi still got the death penalty, bro. So you might be on to something.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just sad that everybody it's like a team, in law enforcement. So if you want your team to be looked at as like garbage, keep letting garbage work with you. And that's the sad part about it. The first thing they say, if you know something, say something, but they know everything and don't say nothing. So they won't practice what they preach. So, then everybody like, oh, what about? Those are supposed to be for professionals, so they supposed to be held to a higher standard, but everybody want to make excuses for them. So where I work is totally different. You going to be whatever. You ain't got no weapons. You got to hold on your own for like 30 seconds before we get there. So, it's a difference when you got a couple of curves around your hip as opposed to when you just got hands and you facing 125 or 130. So.
Yeah. But we should not be surprised, right? And it's sickening because of the lack of accountability that you see. This stuff continues to happen.
Yeah. And the people that work with them don't speak out against it. That's the worst part about it.
Well, because it's really a cult.
Well, but the thing is, you can't whine about how the public look at you when you won't do anything to change it. So it's just like you expect it to go away when you won't, attack. It's like cancer. If you don't aggressively attack it, it ain't going nowhere.
But here's the frustrating part, right? Is like, you go through the summer 2020 and people are calling for, we always end up on this, should there be more training or what's the accountability look like? And the thing about it is, whether it's the brothers in Memphis who killed Tyree Nichols, or these dudes, like, you have people who over a period of time have become so enamored with their own power that they just abuse people. And so the question for me is, where does the accountability begin and where does it end? Because you have a chief police that get on TV and say, well, if you give us more resources, we'll have better training. Or if you give us this, it'll be different. And it's like, no, bro, like, you've got this in your department. And like you said, Dana, this is a cancer that's metastasizing in your department that you've enabled it, right? So don't come to me and ask me for millions of more dollars for better training when you got stuff like this that is going on.
Yeah.
It's not only that though. I mean, you think about it. It's still a bad hire. Yeah. Now, I think the challenge that you have, I've been in HR and worked for a lot of companies over the period of time. There's things you can put in on the front end that's going to tell you the truth about how this person. I mean, we first of all, we're in a time where data analysis is like at its highest peak, and people want people with this data information and data. You can also think about the NFL, the NBA. They have so much data on an individual. They can tell you maybe at this point in time during the game, this person may or may not perform this way.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the police force, with any other job. If I'm not doing my job on a 9 to 5, guess what happens? I get fired.
But most of the time you have a history of complaints that they just ignore. And that's the sad part about it.
But that's the problem, though. And that's the problem. I mean, it's like a domino effect. But you can't ask for more money to support something you're not even doing in the first place. That's called your job.
I think that if they really wanted the right people to do the job, they could. I know that even to purchase a Chick-fil-A restaurant, there's a psychological exam that you have to take and pass.
Yeah.
You telling me
just
that
them asking, do you know Jesus? But
I mean, you have the resources, to your point, Roy, To your point, if that was really what they wanted.
What you want, you put your money
Right
where
now,
you want to
you
put your
can
money.
breathe, they'll take you.
Mm-hmm. I'm so tired of to continue down this road. Let me try to do something else. So, Dwight, earlier this week, you hit the road and you all were petitioning. The kiddies went back to school this week, and tell us a little bit about what you all were marching for and where you started and why you started the march where you did.
Well, we've been talking about the controversy for a while. Back in January, Ron DeSantis decided that AP African American history wouldn't be taught in Florida schools. Fast forward, and the Department of Education decided to create some quote unquote updated African American history standards that basically one component of them talked about enslaved people benefited from slavery, and that would be taught in schools, as well as the fact that somehow Black people contributed to the violence that they experienced in places like Rosewood and Ocoee. So, so had Black people not been violent in those spaces, they wouldn't have been murdered. Is what the State Board of Education approved, which we know is a complete fallacy and lie. So we took it to the streets, led by Dr. Marvin Dunn. We marched from Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, which is Miami's oldest Black high school, to the school board building to really let folks know that, we're sick and tired and that we want the school board to be courageous in rejecting these new standards and not adopting them, because there is, they do have that authority to say that we disagree with these new standards and therefore we will not adopt them and implement them in our schools. And so that is the fight that we're, one of the many fights that we're taking on. But, why we were out in the streets this week is because.
So they do have that right to do something separate from what the state is telling them?
Yeah, they can choose to stick with the old standards, which were fine, right? There's no mandate that says a school board, a duly elected school board, has to adopt updated standards, especially if there's evidence as to why they should disagree. And so that is what we're encouraging people to do, is petition the school board to have a backbone, to be courageous, and to not, keep falling victim to some of this stuff. They, initially they had adopted that policy around book banning, and then they went back and realized that was dumb. That one parent shouldn't have, unilateral authority to have a book ban for an entire school or an entire district. And so they were able to fix that. So same rules apply.
And wouldn't this lead to potential withdrawal of funding from the county, for the county?
I mean, naturally, the governor could threaten that. He has threatened that in the past. But the reality is that our Constitution requires, the state Constitution, not the U.S. Constitution, but the Florida state Constitution requires a funded public education system. And so what the governor could set himself up for is, a Brown versus Board style lawsuit thrown back on him if he created an inequitable system based on the fact that one group has chosen, or a couple of districts have chosen, to not follow an unjust law.
Mhm.
Let's look at the people. I'm trying to pull up now. I asked Bobby to do this, and he didn't get a chance to. But Rojas, was she appointed by DeSantis?
No. She was elected.
What do we think she would vote?
I think with enough pressure, she'll vote the right way.
Espino.
Now, she was appointed by DeSantis.
Yes. Alonzo.
He was appointed by DeSantis.
That's 2 votes. Baez Geller.
Elected and would definitely vote the right way.
Bendros Mendengal.
Gallon.
Blanco.
Mike might go with the other group. We just need one.
Colucci.
Yeah, she might go with the other group as well. We need 5 votes to
Santos.
make sure. So I think Santos, Baez Geller, Gallon, Dr. Bendros Mendengal, and either and Mary Terry Rojas could go the right way. The others, they might be too loyal to DeSantis, but but hey, if we got to bring the smoke, we'll bring the smoke.
Whew. I tell you, if anything else happened, we are all awake now. 2020 showed you what you think you know, you don't. You better figure it out as you're going. And be courageous enough to stand up for what's right, whether you want to take a vaccination or not. Speaking of that, did you all see this thing about Gates releasing all these mosquitoes, GMO down in the Florida Keys? Is there truth to that? I haven't seen that circulating on the news. I saw it on social media. Bill Gates, you all didn't see that story?
I haven't seen that story, but as someone who had the pleasure of representing the Keys, mosquito control is a very interesting niche kind of thing. And so the challenge is, Gates aside, there have been genetically modified mosquitoes for a while, primarily to kill off other mosquitoes. So they basically use genetically modified mosquitoes to try and reduce the mosquito population so you don't have an overwhelming number of mosquitoes biting you all the time. But of course, folks, have taken that and they're like, well, what other things are they modifying these mosquitoes with?
Got it.
That I can't speak to, but I'm just saying we've been using genetically modified mosquitoes for quite some time.
Hey, they cloned Tyrone.
Which Dwight says is a good movie. So is this the lady who poured the drink on a little boy?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can tell by her haircut. Absolutely.
I was thinking you could tell by her eyeliner. It's like has a little cup saucer to hold soda.
Her name is what? Peggy? Peggy Sue.
So what's the update on this situation?
I haven't seen anything.
I know she's Vince apologized. I know that for sure.
Oh, of course.
And people are looking to file charges against her.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Dana, you don't have to say of course, because I'm going to tell you, the lady in Bonefish in Georgia told the other black lady, called her the N-word, and the news media found her, and they said that's an offensive word. Can't you see that? And she said, yes. And she said, well, do you feel sorry for saying it? She said, no. No, I don't.
She used it.
That's why I used it.
That's why I used it.
That's why I used it, because it was offensive.
And that's where I guess
Montgomery has taught white people nothing.
I guess when people say words don't hurt you, I like no, but I'm going on intent. So if you intend to offend me, I'm gonna be offended, and we're gonna deal with it. Just I don't want to disappoint you.
And get ready to get these Mario coins knocked
I'm gonna show you what happened when you want to offend and be disrespectful.
Dana, you throw your hat up on the softball field on the circuit.
Hey, look.
And they thinking that you throwing it up because you won the baseball game and that's not the softball game and that's not it, Dana.
Look, I'm not the high road type of guy. I ain't got there yet. I'm still praying. I'm still a work in progress.
Goodness.
I'm gonna meet you on the low road.
No, Dana, to your credit, I've seen you take the high road before now. Okay, we won't talk about that.
I heard about the high road.
Yeah,
I heard about the high road you took.
Was I with you, Roy? Yeah. When I met you, you was in a suit and a hat. So I was like, bro.
No, it wasn't then. It wasn't then. But you taking the high road. You taking the high road, and I give you credit for it now, okay?
Everybody saw the light bulb go off on your head. Oh my goodness!
Now those.
Oh yeah, 40/40 Club closing its
Shut
stores.
it down,
They already
right?
closed it.
Mm-hmm.
They're either closing it or it's already closed in Manhattan. Did anybody go there?
No.
I mean, when it was hot, it was hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back when rappers had sneakers and
now they have skirts.
Michael Vick was the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons.
Kanye made an appearance at the Travis Scott concert in Rome. Did you all see that?
I just heard he had no shoes on, and I was appalled.
Hey man, you know what though? I'm gonna tell you, Kanye West has been throwing Travis Scott a lob for the last year or so since he had that concert. So great lob.
Yeah, I'm always rooting for him.
Travis Scott or Kanye?
Kanye.
Oh.
I'm not of the Travis Scott era.
Right.
I couldn't even name a song. I know a lot of people who can, but I couldn't name one. I just know that he's one of the Kardashians' baby's daddy.
Oh.
Something like that. Right? Isn't that?
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
They've both been harmed.
They've been Kardashianized.
Oh yeah, that's right. They both have.
That's what that hug was about. It was a hug.
Yeah, it was like, bro,
like you survived. Like
we made it through.
You made it, man. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't see Lamar Odom in the background?
Lamar Odom was
He's
like,
the president of the club.
He's like, I got these recovery centers now. So whenever y'all boys ready.
He giving workshops on how to get through.
Lamar Odom like Chris Tucker and Fridays.
Dana,
you got withdrawals.
Ooh, I don't know if that was good. Is it too early?
It'll be all right.
It's too early.
It'll be all right.
That's hilarious. Does anybody know what's going on with Bronny?
What, after he had the heart condition?
Mm-hmm.
Last time they showed him, he was playing the piano at home. He was doing all right. That was the last thing they showed.
Yeah, I mean, luckily the basketball season and the regimen for training doesn't start. Like the NCAA doesn't allows limited practice up until it gets close to the season. So I'm assuming he's under doctor supervision.
Nah, yeah, he's under the same supervision as Hamlin. Okay, how about that?
Oh, that's
I think his situation's way different because Bronny ain't got to work another day in his life if he chose to.
We're not talking about that.
The type of care is the same, so that's a different level of security or concern.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying with Hamlin is Hamlin's trying to play. The Bills have no desire to not let, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to create a liability either. So everybody's in agreement there. I'm thinking with Bronny, at the end of the day, his parents are set, he's set, and therefore, even if the USC doctors say, all right, you're cleared, Savannah might be like, nah, Sat down.
Nah, but you're not.
You good. You're a millionaire for the you're good.
I don't know, Dwight. I know he comes from a different financial situation, but what I will say is that I believe Hamlin's covered. After all that thing that went down, right, wrong, or indifferent, the boy's everywhere now. He's at every scene now. He's at every party.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime something happens to somebody, oh, hey, we're going to reference Hamlin.
He's the ultimate comeback story, but
yeah,
I think the part of that is he's also normally, old school sports would have had him commentating, move them somewhere where he could make money for the rest of his life and just wear a Bills blazer and greet people at the stadium. Now they're actually putting this dude back on the field, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
Don't make sense.
You need to go talk to the public relations team on that one.
Right. Because
don't add up to me.
The first time looks like a miracle. It happens again. It just looks like stupidity at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, sometimes salt look like sugar too.
Our last story, Lizzo. A lot of accusations about
that's something we would pay to go away.
How she was treating her staff. But I felt like the things that they were saying, that's stuff that happens at regular jobs.
All I'm saying is the band from MTV needs to file suit against Diddy because it sounds like that's all they were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's making them walk the juniors to get some cheesecake for
middle of the night.
Which then goes into play that people were saying that it was someone who had it against her. Like she did somebody wrong in order to bring up these type of charges.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always when you're riding highest.
Right. The Super Bowl said thanks, no thanks.
Right.
What else is going to be dropped?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
She's no longer in consideration.
Right. Well, it's look, think about Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, right before the Super Bowl.
That's true.
Somebody says something.
Yep.
When have we seen him since?
We have not.
Jonathan Majors had like 3 movies in the movie at the same time, and they were like, "Gotcha."
We'll see y'all next week. Hey.
Long shot, but I got the reach. Pop lock, now I'm off the leash. Mic drop, I ain't gotta preach. I just do what comes natural. 5-star, everything I see. Live large, no